Ouch. Oh, hi guys, how are you? My hook got tangled in my project and we don't want to undo my stitches, right? Can't undo them. So let me put the hook back here and I'll put it away. How are you? Did you guys have a blessed Thanksgiving? I was truly blessed with family, and in fact, I want to tell you a little story while we were there. We had stopped at a mom. It got into it. There's a whole ordeal on this. That whole ordeal will be in my book someday. But we got to this mom and pop's hotel. But the people said that we just bought it. We're organizing it. They had beds, and it was a bathroom, a handicapped room. And we ended up going into Walgreens and buying a shower chair so I could have a shower chair. And so they gave us a discount for buying a shower chair and leaving it there. So God answered some small prayers for that. But what I didn't realize is they didn't have a coffee pot. So we went to Lion's Foods store, or Food Lion, or somebody in the comments will tell me what the store is, the exact name for the store is. So anyway, we went into this little grocery store and got some instant coffee and got some food. I like my hummus, and I like my fresh veggies, cucumbers, bell peppers, carrots, and celery. That's my little snack. That seems to be more of my nighttime supper at 6 o'clock instead of a heavier meal. I think someone once told me to eat like a king, and then a queen, and then a pauper. But I kind of eat just like a king and a pauper. I don't do the breakfast thing. I do more of a brunch, thing and stuff. And it seems to be working, as you can tell. I can feel the difference. But anyway, we couldn't find a coffee cup at the store, couldn't find glass plates or anything, because I was thinking that we were going to be staying at a hotel that had breakfast every day, because the one in Savannah, we had breakfast. And then when we stayed, and the other one we stayed there in Bag had breakfast. But this little mom and pop's one that was closest to my in-laws didn't have breakfast. So and I didn't realize they didn't have the coffee pot. So we didn't bring plates and forks and knife. We didn't bring a camping set, basically. So we went looking for that stuff, and I asked the worker. I said, and he said, no, ma'am, we don't have any of that. If we have paper products, but they didn't. I wanted glass because I'm one of those. We could wash it and and reuse it and stuff. And especially having coffee, you got to have a coffee mug. Well, we found like a little coffee mug, but it says do not put in the microwave. And I'm like, well, that ain't gonna help me any good. But when we pulled in the store, I saw the store next to the grocery store had green lighting. I thought, oh, they got a Dollar Tree right next to the grocery store. I thought I had mentioned to my husband. I said, I'm gonna zip over next to the Dollar Tree and get a coffee mug and a plate and a bowl for each of us. Well, I left my husband, zipped over to what I thought was Dollar Tree. It was not Dollar Tree. It was a mom and pop's pet store. And I got in and I'm like, oh, and the guy says, I said, well, I'm just looking for glassware. And I was going to turn around and leave. He goes, oh, it's aisle such and such. And I thought, well, maybe they'll have some holiday something or something, because, they were stocking for Christmas. And that aisle was dog food bowls. And I said, no, I'm not. Nope. And they were metal anyway, so you can't put metal in the microwave. So then by this time, people were coming in behind me, and I couldn't turn around and leave the store. So I had to go through this aisle, and I'm like, by this time I'm in this aisle, and I'm like, okay, I got to get out of here. How am I going to get out of here? And people are coming and going, and this finally, I must have had that look of like, oh, I'm lost, help written on my face. And this gentleman stopped me, and he says, are you all right? And I said, well, I'm just trying to get out of here. I said, because they don't have what I need. I said, the hotel we're staying at doesn't have a coffee maker nor coffee cups. And he said, well, maybe you can give him a fish bowl. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I didn't say that out loud. I just shook my head. I'm like, no, I'm not letting my husband drink out of a fish bowl. And not only that, they had fish tanks. They're not fish bowls, the little ones. Anyway, so I got out of the store, And my husband looked at me and goes, "Where'd you go?" And I said, "I thought I told you I was going next door to what I thought was a Dollar Tree." He goes, "No." And so we went back down another aisle, and the Lord looked at me. He said, "Go get some green olives." And so I bought a small jar, an 8-ounce jar of green olives, so we could put that in a container, and I could nibble on those. Because according to my kidney doctor, I can have 4 green olives at a time. So we put them in the styrofoam cup and wash the thing, because we did buy our Dawn dish soap, and so we could do a little bit of dishes, because I bought some knives so we could cut up our veggies and stuff, for the 4 days while we were in this hotel. And while we were leaving, kid had gone ahead of me, and I had ran back in to get the green olives. So he was headed to the car, and I saw these kids, and they were selling candy, for their Boy Scouts, or I don't think it was Boy Scout. I think it was Boys and Girls Club. They were trying to sell candy to, for their Boys and Girls Club. And I said, I tell you what. I said, I'll give you a donation. Buy the candy, but you must share it with the other boys and girls. And they're like, "Oh, yes." So and then I got back to the car and realized I had another $1. I said, "Hold on." So I zipped back and gave him another one. I said, "Now you have 2 candies you can buy and share, but you must share them." And I thought, I just smiled, and they're like, "Oh, yay." So the gentleman in the pet store was a blessing to me, and I got to turn around and be a blessing to these boys. God uses us in the smallest ways. And no, he didn't drink out of he just used the water, the olive container to heat up the water in the microwave. Maybe I didn't see him drink out of it anyway to make his coffee into it, but he put it in a styrofoam cup. So anyway, I now know I will need to pack, when I go traveling, a little camp set, where a micro glass set or something, or ceramic set, so when we go to hotels, we have it just in case. It was, no, he wasn't going to drink out of a fishbowl. So, anyway, I just wanted to let you know that there's angels among us, and God lets us to be angels too to other people. He uses us at a certain time and date for a reason you never know. So I just wanted to share that with you, that my husband did not drink out of a fish bowl or a dog bowl or cat bowl, either one. But I'm so thankful that I listened to the Lord and heard his still small voice to go buy some green olives. So anyway, have a great day, okay? God bless you. And hi, little C. I'm still thinking about you and praying for you. And I'm praying for my whole family. And again, guys, if you need prayer, please leave an emoji and I'll lift you up, okay? To God, okay? Whatever struggles you are going through, know that he's going to carry you through it, okay? And know that Miss Kathy loves you, and I'm praying for you. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.